Back on the poker felt down here in Florida for another Lex O poker vlog. In this hand, there's an early position raised to 50 over a $25 straddle. Cutoff makes a call for 50. I have ace king of clubs. I 3-bet 5x here out of position, $250. Early position raiser folds, but the cutoff now makes the call. Once he calls pre-flop and then calls my 3-bet, I put him on hands like ace queen, possibly ace jack suited, maybe some middling pocket pairs. So when the flop comes down 7-7 deuce, 1 club, 2 hearts, I feel like it's a board I can easily triple barrel here to try to get him to fold out. Smaller pocket pairs like 5s, 6s, 8s, and 9s. I continue for a $200 bet. My opponent does make the call for 200, not really what we wanted to see. I was hoping he would fold out those ace high, king high, or queen high Broadway cards that he called me with pre-flop. Turn card 4 of hearts, now bringing 3 hearts on the board. We have a decision to make, either check and give up, or continue to fire here. And I do feel like I could easily continue to bet. Feel like if he does have those middling pocket pairs, and he most likely has, if I bet here and then shove all in on the river, it can put him into a very nasty spot. If I had aces, kings, queens, or jacks, all with a heart, or even without a heart, I would definitely continue to bet this turn. So I make it $350, hoping he folds. If he calls, we're going to fire another big bet on the river. However, my opponent raises me here to $800. I snap fold, and we lose the first pot. I'm guessing he either had pocket deuces, pocket 4s, or a flush, and he let us off the hook by raising there on the turn. Shaking it off from that first hand, I get dealt in 6-7 suited. I raise in the hijack to 75. A bad regular pro makes the call in the cutoff, and we go heads up out of position to queen 4-8, 1 club, 2 diamonds. With a gut shot straight draw, I decide to check over to my opponent here to see what he does. He looks back at his cards and then fires out 3 green chips for a $75 bet. Now, interesting spot. We could call here. We could make a very tight fold, or we could possibly check raise. After looking over at his stack, I feel like I could check raise big here on the flop and potentially shove the turn. He shouldn't have any 2 pairs on this board. He could have 2 sets, 8s and 4s. He can't really have pocket queens, so I decide to go for it. I bump it up here to $400. Got him again. Got him again, boys. I had to show the bluff to my opponent, who actually is one of my good friends here at the Hard Rock. We play with each other daily, and he knows I'm messing around with him. I actually have my brand new $700 Gucci glasses on. I call these my bluff glasses. I bought these after my huge $20,000 pot I won just a couple months ago with pocket aces, which then leads us into this hand, which I think is the most interesting, fun hand of the night. I raise king 9 suited on the button, only the straddle makes the call, and we get a crazy good flop. When it comes out queen high, we flop a flush draw, an overcard, and a gut shot straight draw. My opponent checks to me, and I decide to bet large here on this flop, make it $125. I can have a lot of strong hands in this board, so I'm going to bet big. My opponent does make the call for $125. Going to the turn, let's hit a flush or a straight, but not this time. It's a 7 of diamonds. He checks over to me, and I feel like this card is an easy double barrel because it doesn't improve any of his hands, really. I mean, it is possible he could have queen 7 suited. He probably isn't calling the flop with a hand like 4-7 suited. Doesn't bring in any straights. Flush doesn't get there. No overcards to the queen. So I feel like it's a great spot to put in a slight overbet. So I make it $475. My plan here is to, 1, get my opponent to fold. If he calls, I plan on hitting one of my outs on the river and then jamming all in. If he calls and we miss, we may have to jam all in as a bluff as well. So we will see. My opponent goes into the tank for a while. He is a European pro. He is thinking over his options, computing, going over the statistics or whatever these guys do when they think for a long period of time. And eventually he makes the call for $475. So let's get there. A spade, a 10, a king, 1 time for the good guys. No, it's a 6 of diamonds. We are left here with king high. Everything missed for us. My opponent checks to me. Should we go for it and jam all in, or should we wave the white flag and give up? All in. I've got my Gucci bluffing glasses on, so that means we are going for it here. Triple barrel bluff, all in on the river for my opponent's around $1,300 stack. He doesn't snap call, which is great. That means he wasn't slow playing two pair or a set. Obviously here we are praying for a fold. I don't really like my bluff because I hold a lot of cards that I want him to have. I have two spades in my hand, which I want him to have those missed flush draws. I have a king and a 9, which blocks him from having missed straight draws and flush draws as well. But screw it. The vlog is on. I want to bluff this guy. I can have a lot of strong hands here. Two pairs, sets, aces, and kings. So I go for it here, all in, and my opponent goes into the tank again. He is thinking, he's computing, he's going over the options, he's counting his chips, he's looking at me, and then he's staring at me. I can see him through my glasses. I don't think he can see my eyes. I guess he's trying to get a read, but he is not going to get a read off of me. I'm sitting there trying to be like a statue, controlling my breathing, controlling my heart rate, looking at one single card on the board, which is the queen, and inside I am saying fold. Fold your damn cards. Fold. Come on, man, just let it go. And eventually, after 3 minutes of thinking, he comes up with his decision. Got him, boys. I got him.
Can Brian S for 2-5? Can Brian S?
Bad hand to do it with, but I have to do it.
Just call.
What's the other choice? You know, I miss fucking everything.
Hi, Lex.
Hey, how's it going?
Are you moving? Are you coming here?
I think it's him, right? You're next.
Oh, did you want to move?
No, you're next to the main game. I used to never do this when I would bluff and get it through. I would just slide my cards into the muck, but lately I've been showing my bluffs, and it actually is a lot of fun. Now, I only do this against other professional players who play poker for a living, who I play with a lot. I feel like it's fun to try to tilt them. I mean, this is a game for money, man. We're trying to beat each other. I don't care if they get upset or tilted. That'll just help me in the long run, hopefully. I would never do this with a recreational player, but had to show him the king high bluff, and we end up taking this one down. If you're familiar with the must move main game concept, there is a main game where all the must move players will feed into. Well, if you're playing with a lot of other professional players who sit and grind for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, that means the main game sometimes gets full of all other professional players. Well, that's exactly what is going on tonight at this main game. There is 6 other professional players at this table, and then one other guy who looks like he's trying to become a professional poker player. So not the best lineup for us. However, we do get pocket jacks. In the hijack, a raise to 60. Cutoff makes to call. And now the small blind 3 bets to $325. The small blind is the same Euro pro who I bluffed earlier with King 9 of spades. Given the fact that he only has around $1,700 to start the hand, which is less than 100 big blinds, hijack versus small blind, 3-bet range, I'm just going to be going all in here. I raised to around $3,000. He makes this snap call. He asks if I want to run it once or twice. I tell him one time. Let's see what happens here. $3,500 in the middle with pocket jacks. Let's see this run out. King high board is not going to be good with pocket jacks up against ace king offsuit, and unfortunately we end up losing this pot, losing around $1,700. I guess it could have been worse. He could have had a little bit more money in his stack. It seems like a pretty standard play here, all in with pocket jacks. Unfortunately, we could not win this flip. I look around at the table. I just think to myself, man, this does not look like a kind of game I want to be playing in. So I decided to take a break, wait over an hour to get back on the must-move game later on. I go outside, get some air, make a few phone calls, and then I end up sitting down at a PLO game where I get into an interesting spot there. One of the first hands I play, I get it all in with ace, ace, 5, deuce on queen, 7, deuce against ace, queen, 8, 9. The turn's an 8, river's a 9, and I end up losing $1,000 there with aces. Then leading on here, another about 30 minutes later, I have ace, 10, 4, 5 double suited. There's a raise. I call on the button. We go 4 ways to ace, 10, 8, all diamonds. I flop top 2 pair. When it checks to me, I don't feel like there's really any point in betting here. Kind of hard to get called by worse. Don't really want to bloat the pot with this particular hand, so I check back. Turn card's a 10, now giving me a full house. I have the second nuts. I do block anyone from having pocket aces as well, given the fact that I have an ace in my hand. The initial raiser bets out $50, about half the size of the pot. When it folds to me, I raise to $200 with my full house, and he makes the call. River card, 9 of hearts, he checks over to me. The pot's around $500. I can get called by a lot of worse hands here. Pocket 8s, pocket 9s, 10-8, 10-9. I decide to pot it for $510. Back over to him, and he goes all in for my last $250. I make the call and get shown pocket aces. Oh, PLO is disgusting. Full house versus full house, and I end up losing $2,000 at PLO in less than 30 minutes. When you're down thousands of dollars, why not play bigger? They end up starting a new 10-25 game uncapped. I buy in for over $10,000, trying to get my money back at this table. First hand I play, I've got pocket 8s from early position. I raise to 75. The $50 straddle's not on in this hand. The big blind makes the call. We go heads up in position to king 8-4 to clubs. That is what I'm talking about, flopping a set for us. My opponent checks. I bet $100 and he makes the call. Turn card, things get a little interesting. When the 9 of spades comes off, my opponent checks. I bet big now, $325, and to my surprise, I get check raised now to $825. A weird spot to be in, facing this $825 raise. It's a small raise. I look over at his stack. He's got about $2,000 left. So I have two options here. I could call or I could jam all in for his last $2,000. Now, if I go all in, he could potentially hero fold hands like 8-9, possibly king 9 or king 4. I mean, it is super strong if I go all in here over his check raise on the turn. But what if I call and a scared card comes out on the river and kills my action? I don't know what to do. Should I call? Should I jam? And ultimately, I decide to just make the call for $500 more, thinking that given the fact that it's basically 1-to-1 SPR, stack to pot ratio on the river, I feel like it's pretty easy to get all of his chips if he does have a set or two pair. So now the pot is brewing almost $2,000 in the middle, and the final card is the 3 of clubs. This is one of those scare cards I didn't want to see. The front door flush gets there. I don't think he ever has a flush the way he's played this hand, especially when he slows down and now checks over to me on the river. $2,000 left in his stack. I don't think he ever has a flush. I've got pocket 8s for a set. I'm going to go for it here. Max value, I bet out $4,500. After sliding out this bet and having my opponent go into the tank, I am regretting not just going all in here on the turn. He bet $825 with just $2,000 left. He most likely always had two pair or bottom set in that situation. I should have just jammed, tried to get the money all in while the board didn't run out any scarier. With the 3 of clubs coming here on the river, the front door flush getting there, I just don't really have many bluffs in my range. I mean, the only bluffs I can really have would be Jack 10 or possibly turning ace king or aces with a club into a bluff to try to get him off two pair or a set. Like I said, a little annoying. Should have just jammed the turn, and eventually he does make the discipline lay down with most likely a two pair hand. On the positive side, we did get back $1,000 that we lost over at PLO. Well, I don't last too long at this 10-25 game. It doesn't seem too good. There is a seat open at the must move 5-10 game, which I left about 3 hours earlier. This game looks much better than the main game I was playing. There's a bunch of recreational players, some people looking to gamble. I buy in for $2,500 and immediately I get all in here my first hand. I raise king jack suited. I get a call from the big blind, a call from the straddle. Flop comes out king high. I decide to bet around $100, and the big blind, a very short stack with only $250, jams all in. I make the call, and we have video. King. The board runs out all low cards. I show king jack. My opponent shows ace 10 for a gut shot straight draw, 1 over card, and we stack him here for around a $700 pot. Coming back a little bit, we're still stuck heaps though, losing that big flip with pocket jacks, losing over $2,000 at PLO. We're only down around $3,000 now. The $25 straddles on under the gun makes the call. I raise to $100 next to act with Jack 10 suited. The small blind, the same guy who just went all in with Ace 10 the hand prior, rebought for $500, which is definitely a very short stack at this table. He makes the call for $100, leaving himself around $400 left. Limper makes the call. We go three ways here in position to King Queen 6 rainbow. Pretty great flop for me. It's cards that should hit my raising range. And also I'm open-ended. Any ace, any 9 will give me the nuts. Now this small blind player bets out $125. Limper makes the fold, action back over on me. This is a very annoying spot. Don't think he's ever bluffing here. Don't think I can ever get him to fold if I raise. But I just have a lot of equity in this situation. He possibly could have a straight draw as well. I'm just going to put him all in for his last $300. Let's run it out. Let's try to hit it straight. I raised a $500. He makes the snap call, and we are all in again. This time, we've got to get lucky. Looking for an ace or a 9 or maybe runner flush. Let's see what happens. Turns a deuce. River 3, we miss everything and lose against Ace King suited. My opponent just called pre-flop, leaving himself $400 behind. He got a great flop and then got me to put all my money in there with a straight draw. We ended up doubling him up. Not happy with the way I played this hand. Probably could have just folded on the flop. I guess I just felt like gambling. Thought maybe I would hit one of my outs. Over the next 2 hours, I'm playing in a very good game. A lot of action, a lot of players seeing a lot of flops. I'm picking up a lot of nice playable hands, but I am not connecting with any boards. And after 2 hours of raising or calling, betting, and missing every single flop, I end up just whittling down my stack, losing. It's now 3 a.m. I realize I am not going to get out of the hole this session. I'm tired. I've been playing for a while, over 8 hours. I decided to call it a night, rack up my chips, head to the cage, and cash out. The next day, the rain ended up letting up in the early afternoon, so I decided to head to the golf course. This is a par 3 9-hole course around 20 minutes from my house. I haven't golfed for a long time, but let's see if we can run a little bit better out here on the links compared to the poker felt. Alright guys, that is it for this one. I'm here in Lauderhill, Florida. Never been to this area before, decided to go golfing today. They have a nice 9-hole, well, it's not that nice. It's a 9-hole course, very quick. If you don't use it though, you lose it. I really suck at golf. I haven't really been golfing the last like 15 months since I came back here to Florida, and it showed today. I was hitting all over the place, to the left, to the right. My first tee, I missed the ball like 3 times. It was pretty bad, but this is like a $10 course, par 3, 9-hole, nice and easy. So we're gonna try to get back into golfing. As for the poker yesterday though, that was pretty miserable, pretty awful session. We did have a nice bluff there to start off, King 9 of spades, triple barrel bluff, ended up getting that one through, but then it just went downhill quickly after that. We lost pocket jacks to ace king for a $3,500 pot. We then tried PLO because the main game of the 5-10 was all pros. When I'm at a 5-10 game and every single player is a professional player, I don't feel like it's worth it for me to waste my time and play that game. Even if I maybe have a small edge or I'm breaking even, I just don't feel like it's worth it. So I left, tried PLO, ended up losing $2,000 in PLO. So I should have just went home or got some ice cream or went to go eat, or I don't know. But trying to experiment a little bit more with PLO while the main games or the 5-10 games are very, very, very tough. 2 days ago, I won $3,000 at 555 card PLO. Yesterday, I lost $2,000, so it's a swingy game. Not sure how I feel about it. I won't be posting PLO vlogs. I'll just be updating you guys a little bit. But after that, we went back to the no limit games. We flopped a set of 8s, won a decent pot, and then just lost every single pot after that. And if you lose every single pot for 4 or 5 hours, you end up losing a lot of money, which happened yesterday. I lost $5,800 playing poker. So not the best day, pretty rough session. It happens. Sometimes you're going to run bad, you're going to lose flips, you're going to get stacked, and that was me yesterday. Still up, decent amount in the month, so I'll take it. Going to be in Vegas July 1st through July 5th maybe, or July 6th. Going to be out there playing cash games, Bellagio, Aria, Wynn, Resorts World, Paris. Going to be making videos. I'm excited for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, I'll see ya.